Prop the mic here. How's it going?
It's good, man. Real good.
Real good.
Real good. I got my new Brooklyn Nets hat on.
I like it. Basquiat.
Yeah, that's the artist, right?
That is the artist. That is the inspiration for those Nets jerseys, the City Edition Nets jerseys. I got my son one of those jerseys because it was so cool. So my inspiration right there.
Yeah. One artist to another.
There we go. So what's going on?
Right.
We had a decent night last night. We have to get better at our select picks, but overall, it was a pretty good night for picks.
Yeah, crushed it on the pod.
Yeah,
like you said, we had a few bad breaks on the ones that we posted on Twitter.
Yeah,
probably the most painful was Draymond.
Yeah,
he was like making a hard charge to get those the 9 rebounds, and then he got in a tussle and got tossed.
And he had most of the fourth quarter left, right? Or
no, he got tossed with like a minute or two left. But
that's all it was. Okay.
He was like averaging a rebound a minute at that point. Like he was really going after it. So
because he started the second half with I think four, or he was, I don't know.
He started the second half with 4.
With 4, yeah.
So he definitely made some good work there. He and Dwight Howard, who we're no longer talking about since he's over in China.
Yeah.
Those are the two guys that, like, you always got to be careful. Like, they, betting overs, they can always mess you up with an ejection. So
yes. Yeah. There's not too many of those guys, but Draymond is numero uno on that list.
Passion.
Yeah.
All right. So let's dive into tonight's slate. We're back to a small slate. I thought the NBA would step up the Thursday slate this week, given that there's no Thursday night football, but they did move the games a little earlier than what they have been on Thursdays. But nevertheless, we got 4 games, and there's at least 2 that are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the first. We got the 7 p.m. game, Grizzlies at the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Grizzlies are 24-13. Recency, they're 6-4 in their last 10, so they're kind of floating.
Mm-hmm.
Magic are 14-24, and they are 6-4 in their last 10. I guess that's good, right, for a 14-24 team.
Yeah.
Magic have a bunch of people still out. You got Bol is out. Mo Wagner is out. But
Franz Wagner is back.
He's back.
Okay. I saw props out of him. Not that we're going there, but just
I might.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
The Magic are getting 7 points. Sharps are on the Magic plus the points, and the total is 230.5, and the Sharps are on the unders.
All right.
What's standing out?
Okay. I'm staying away from Memphis. Playing guys against Memphis. They're just great defensively. No position stands out. They're definitely in the bottom half of across the board on everything. So staying away from them. Orlando, 2 nice spots to target. Forwards and point guards. They're top 5 on the full season and over the last month. So your point guard, obviously for the Grizz is Ja, and forwards it's a little Dylan Brooks can be classified as a forward, though he's also been classified as a wing. You got Jaren Jackson, who's classified as a big, but also he plays power forward as well. So those are some of the guys we could look at there. Who I ended up landing on was I just have one play for this game. I think it's Ja. It's a Ja night. I didn't do a ton of digging. I just feel like it's a prime spot for him. 28.5 points. This is a back-to-back for Memphis. The last 2 games he played this season on a back-to-back, he scored 35 and 30. Mm-hmm. So I like him in this spot tonight to go for 29 at least.
Yeah, he's been. I was looking at him. He's been like 2 games hitting that, then 1 game down. Like he is a little bit inconsistent, but this seems like a good spot for him.
Yeah, and it seems like the back-to-back, like he seems to have done well this season on that. So he's loosened up the muscles. Things are things are greased up and ready to score.
I like also that the Magic, the Sharps are on the Magic, so that implies that this will be
Close.
a relatively close game. So he'll be in there for 4 quarters, hopefully.
Yeah. All right, hit me. What you got?
All right, first, I just want to talk about Steven Adams. Have you seen what he's doing on the glass of late?
Not totally, no. What is he doing?
You just focus on points, man, but the real work is done on the boards.
Wow, look at that.
76 rebounds in his last 4 games.
Wow. I see that.
That guy is just built differently.
He is.
Right? Like, if he wants to just get 20 rebounds in a game, regardless of who he's playing, he could. Yeah. So I was very tempted by the 12.5 rebound line, but I'm a little scared by the Magic rebounding. So I wanted your
Carter
opinion.
Back now, and
Magic are a pretty good rebounding team. But I don't know if the absence of Bol maybe makes this more of an opportunity. What do you think?
I like what I see here. I'm looking at his. I just want to look at his splits. Even on the road, his last 3 on the road, 15, 17, and 14. And the trend line's up. I mean, if you look at the beginning of the season, I mean, he's down. I mean, everything's just going like this, from 5, 10, 7, 12, 10, 10. Now all of a sudden it's 14, 17, 15, and then.
But even 5 games ago, he was putting up like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Something changed in the last couple of games where he's definitely prioritizing rebounding. So.
Interesting.
So I'll go for that one. I'll jump on that the bandwagon while it's still going. Steven Adams, 12.5 rebounds.
Who I even like. I'm seeing right here against Sacramento on New Year's Day.
Yes.
Yeah, that was on a back-to-back, which they're on tonight, and he had 23 points and 23 boards in that game.
Yeah. So against Sabonis, who's a good rebounder, and then one of the other games was against a good rebounding team. I don't remember who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the other?
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans. So against Joe Val. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll ride that until it
all right. I like
until
that.
It crashes. The other one I liked was Franz Wagner. 1 steal. So it's a little juicy, minus 145.
Mm-hmm.
He's done it in 6 games in a row. Memphis is kind of a middle of the pack team in terms of handling the ball. But he's coming off of suspension. I don't know if he was out 1 or 2 games, but I kind of feel like he's going to come back, with some energy.
With a vengeance.
With some vengeance. This is actually his first game that he's playing in 2023. So,
all right.
So let's roll with Franz. 1 steal. All right?
I'd like to point out, what did I text you post-show yesterday about Mr. Bancaro?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see his line last night?
Yeah.
25, 7, and 8?
Yeah, he had
something like that, 25, 7,
I thought he had a chance at a triple-double. But
yeah, it was looking good.
All right. Let's move on to the first TNT game of the day at 7:30. We've got the Celtics at the Mavs. Celtics are 26-12, 5-5 in their last 10, coming off of that embarrassment at OKC. That was really a show.
That was crazy without SGA.
Celtics defense looked terrible.
Yeah.
So that'll be a little concerning tonight as they go up against the Mavs, who are 22-16. They're actually one of the hotter teams in the league right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10,
especially at home too, right?
Especially at home.
Yeah.
They're without DFS tonight. They're without Kleber. Mavs are getting 3 points. Sharps are on the Mavs, and they're on the over 232. Just to note, these two teams did play earlier in the season. Luka had 42.
Yep.
Wood, who I think you're going to talk about, had 26 and 12.
Did you read my tweet this morning?
I did read your tweet.
Okay, all right.
I did. It's not telepathy. I'm actually doing my homework before the show. Tatum had a big game with 37 and 13, and Jaylen Brown, who's on fire right now, at 31, also called out in your tweet. So
so I think we know where we're going here.
All right, let's see what you got.
So against Boston forwards, it's a top 5 forward target on the season and over the last month. So we're looking there. Unfortunately, Dallas, Christian Wood's categorized as a big man, but for these purposes, so we're going to look at him as a forward here. The other guys that are forwards for Dallas are like super low usage guys, DFS who's out, and Reggie Bullock. So we're just staying away from them, and we're going to consider Christian Wood forward today. Also, big men versus Boston over the last month, not as great, but on the full season, they're a top 5 target for big men, so it works with Wood as well.
I got to tell you too, Al Horford's defense is horrendous. Like I was watching him the other day, like
he's getting old.
People are scoring on him at will.
Yeah.
So and he's starting. I think Robert Williams is available for the game, but they still got Horford starting.
Yeah, Horford is starting. And then on the Dallas side, they're very good defensively at 4 positions, but the one they're not is wings. They're top 5 target over the last over the full season, and I think they're actually the number 1 wing target over the last month. So that's Jaylen Brown. You also got a guy who's hot coming into a great matchup, so I love Jaylen Brown here. And then over the last month, also I think actually Dallas is also the number 1 big target over the last month. I can just confirm that right here. Yeah, they are the number 1 big target over the last month. They're the number 3 wing target.
What's interesting is I don't know how many games back Wood started to get put into the starting lineup, but I think that was actually a real big benefit for them. I think
for sure.
It probably coincides with their record turning to 8-2.
Yeah, him and Doncic.
And I think they'll probably stick with that even when Kleber comes back.
Yeah, him and Doncic look good together.
Yeah,
it's a good pick and roll duo. So what do we got here? Jaylen Brown, 26.5 points, -115. He's done it in 6 straight games. He had 31 in the game against Dallas back at the end of November. So I'm riding Jaylen in this awesome matchup for him. And then speaking of, I know you were just talking down on Mr. Al Horford, but if you want to look at his point line's 8.5, it's -110. The last 3 games he played against Dallas, 14, 17, and 14. So crushing that, almost doubling it. So I like that. The other thing I looked at for Horford was his par. It's 16.5, -110. His last 3 against Dallas, 23, 25, and 21. So also clearing it by quite a bit in a good matchup for bigs. I don't love this play nearly as much as the Jaylen Brown one, and I think if I had to pick one of the Horford, I'd go with just the straight points. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I was not talking poorly about his offensive skills.
Okay. Just his
ability
defense.
to stop people, which favors
the
Dallas side.
Okay, thank you for the correction. And then you got anything on Boston?
I also had Jaylen Brown. Even just watching him in the OKC game the other day, he just seems to be at a next level. Even when Tatum is off, he's still performing well. 26.5 points is a lot for him, but he's been doing
25's nicer. Yeah,
25's nicer. But another take on him, just to throw this out, is also his first quarter line. 7.5 points is his line for the first quarter. Plus 100 is the odds. On the season, he's averaging around 7.6, so that's where they come up with that number. But in the last 10 games, he's averaging 8.1. In the last 5 games, he's averaging 11.6.
Wow.
So very hot in the first quarter. He plays, I think, the most minutes out of anybody on the Celtics in the first quarter, averaging around 10 minutes. So he's right at that threshold of
Tatum usually comes out before him.
Yeah, Tatum.
Yeah, he
plays,
gets some run with the second unit. Right?
Yeah, I think he comes out and then he comes back in, kind of when Brown comes out. And then just the last note on this: when they did play on November 23rd, he scored 13 points in the first quarter. So,
all right, I like that.
I think it's an alternative take if you're scared by the full game. Okay,
and I think this is a very competitive game that's going to come down to late in the fourth quarter, and I think I'd feel more comfortable kind of getting the full game for him to accumulate those points. But,
it's always a better bet to take the full run, but in a game that's not projected to be a blowout. But nevertheless, you get plus odds on that. All right. On the Dallas side, what do you like?
I'm going with Christian Wood. His last 3 games against Boston, he had 26. Then he had a game with 4. I didn't do too much digging into that game, what happened there. And then the previous game, he had 20. His line's 18.5 points. He's done it in 5 straight games at home, and they're home tonight. He's done it in 7 of 10 overall. So I like that a lot. And I also looked at his rebounds, 8.5 rebounds. He's done it in 9 of 12 games on 2 days rest at home. So he's juiced up, ready to go. And he seems to, if you look at his splits between overall and on extended rest like this, he seems to definitely perform better when he's a little more rested. So I would pick the points over the rebounds, I think, but I like both of these plays.
Yeah, I like the points, 18.5.
Yeah.
Recency too, the subset of what you talked about last 5, he's averaging 23.2. So he's crushing this in the last 5. And like I said, the Celtics D looks suspect. So I would say ride the hot hand.
Yeah, and Luke is probably a good bet in this game too, but his lines are so high.
His line is like 33, but he's good. I think another kind of juicy one to even contemplate is like Tatum 40, Luka 40, Brown 30, because I think all of that could happen here.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's nice. I like
and
the
maybe
odds
Wood
on that
20
one.
or something like that. So
All
you
right.
really want to go for it all. All right.
Nice.
Who do you like to win this game?
Who do I like to win this game? I think I'm going Luka and the Mavs.
Yeah.
I like
a
them
straight
at
up
home.
win?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
You?
Yeah, I mean they're certainly riding a better streak, and like you pointed out before, they're a good team at home.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the Mavs. I'll take the 3 points.
Okay.
All right, we got 8 p.m. game, Jazz at the Rockets. Jazz are 19-21. They're falling apart. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Sexton is out again. Rockets are 10-28. They're 1-9 in their last 10, so just kind of keeping up with that pace that they're on for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Rockets are favored. Are getting 6.5 points. The Sharps are on the Rockets plus 6.5. The total is 230.5. The Sharps were on the under.
All right. Matchup wise, we're looking at you got 2 great matchups against the Jazz, big men and combo guards, both top 5 on the season and in the last month. Houston was a good target for on the season. Point guards and forwards, they're top 5. Over the last month, though, they don't have any position in the top 5. So it's not as the Houston. I'm sorry, the Utah, the guys on Utah, those plays are not as strong of plays.
Okay.
I feel like, as opposed to the Houston plays. So here's what I got here. Where are we? We have Green. So Jalen Green. Also, I should mention that Utah was also a top 5 wing target on the full season, and Jalen Green has been categorized as both wing and combo guard. So I like this for him quite a bit because it's a 2 category, like ding, 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 sort of thing. So 22.5 points, minus 120. He had a back-to-back at home against the Thunder on November 26th. He had 28 points in that game. He also had 9 assists in that game. The reason I call this out is I feel like OKC is a good comp for Utah in some ways. They're OKC is the number 1 wing target. Utah's the number 4 wing target. OKC is the number 16 combo guard target, whereas Utah's the number 3 combo guard target. So even on paper, better matchup for him. I feel like he clears this no problem. So that's one. And then the other one, because the big men are a good bet against Utah, I'm going with Jabari Smith Jr. 6.5 rebounds is plus 110. He had 13 in that game against OKC, which I also think is a good comp. And he had 9 in both games against Utah. Was that this season?
Back in October. Yeah.
I know they played.
Early,
That's
early
right.
in
He's
the
a rookie,
season.
so it couldn't be early in the season. But he had 9 in both of those games against Utah, and it's only 6.5 in this game, plus money. So that's a nice one.
I like that. That's a sneaky one.
Yeah, it is sneaky. He's a rookie, so he of course can have one of those games where he just does nothing, but he seems to be trending in the right direction.
What is he like in I'm just looking at his fouls. Yeah, he doesn't really get in foul trouble very much. That would be my only concern with him, but he seems to not get above 4.
This is a nice sneaky one. This is a good one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Green concerns me a little just because he's performed well against the Jazz, but in the last
he's
the last couple of games he's been a little flat. So
yeah, I don't know. I like this. At home on a back-to-back. It just seemed like I know the recent stuff is not great, but I think this is a good matchup for him.
All right.
You got anything on the Rockets side?
I didn't have anything on this game. I had a hard time finding anything.
Okay, so I got 2, not as like I mentioned, not as strong of plays on the Utah side. Mike Conley, 7.5 assists. He's done it in 8 of 11 games on one-day rest on the road. In a good point guard matchup on paper. And then I like this one even more. Lauri Markkanen, 26.5 points. It's a high line, but he's done it in 5 straight games. If you look at his last 4 road games, his output's been 36, 29, 32, and 38. In those games, the teams he played was Sacramento, Golden State, San Antonio, and Detroit.
Yep.
All of those except for Golden State are like great forward matchups, like on the same par as on the same level as Houston. So I like this one here. Minus 120, 26.5 points over.
Wow. Yeah, I like him. I was scared away a little bit by his performance against Houston earlier in the year. He had 14 and 24, but I think he's a completely different player.
It was very early in the year.
Yeah, it was like the
Jazz
first
are a
week.
different team. Yeah.
Listen, look at this. Look at his free throw percentage. He against Sacramento, he went 15 for 15. The game before against Miami, he went 12 for 12.
Wow.
The game before against Sacramento, 3 for 3. 2 for 3 against Golden State, and then the game prior to that against the Spurs, 13 for 13.
Wow.
Guy is like...
He's a lock from the line.
Oh, my... Yeah, he's averaging 86, almost 87% from the line. So
wow,
that is nice for a physical guy who, will get fouled a lot, to have that assurance that he's going to drain those free throws.
Especially against this young team that he's going to be able to draw fouls on. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I like this, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was the one guy I was looking at. So, I these 26-point plus lines
I know
are a little scary, but we got burned by a couple role players yesterday. So let's go with the stars today.
I think so.
Kevin
Durant.
Kevin Durant. It was not messing around.
No. All right. Last game.
We got the 10 p.m. game, second TNT game. We got the Clippers at the Nuggets. Clippers are 21-18 on the season, 5-5 in their last 10. Nuggets are 24-13. They have the best record in the West, I believe. They are 14-3 at home and 7-3 in their last 10. So pretty hot team. Nuggets are -5 in the game. Clippers are sharps are on the Clippers +5, and the over 228.5. That's a very high over for a Clippers game. So
yeah.
These two teams played earlier in the season. Nuggets won 114-104. I don't think Paul George or Kawhi played in that game. So John Wall was the leading scorer on the Clipper side with 23. And then Gordon had 29, Murray had 21. Jokic had a pretty flat game with 19 points.
All right. Matchup-wise, forwards against the Clippers have been crushing. Top 5 on the season and over the last month. You can also look at bigs and combo guards against the Clippers across the whole season. And then Denver, we've spoken about this, point guards against Denver. I think it actually now might be the number 1 matchup overall on the board. Unfortunately, Clippers are a little bit weird. They don't really have they have Reggie Jackson, but so I ended up not finding anything. I guess you can look at Paul George as well. There, they've been pretty. Denver's been not great against the wings as of late, but I don't know. I don't like the teams going to Denver, and I don't know. I couldn't find anything on the Clippers side, but I found two that I love on the Denver side. So the forwards versus the Clippers, that's going to put us on Aaron Gordon, 16.5 points, minus 120. His last 4 games against the Clippers, 29, 16, 28, and 30. And then he's done this in 7 of his last 10 home games. So I like this in an excellent matchup.
Yeah.
And then the other one this is a high line, scares me a little bit, but Jokic, 11.5 rebounds. His last 5 games against the Clips, 13, 14, 14, 13, and 22. So he's 100% hit rate against the Clippers over his last 5. Yep. He's also done this in 11 of his last 15 games on 2 days rest, and 8 of his last 11 games on 2 days rest at home. So some good historical stats there. It's minus 115. Jokic, 12 rebounds.
I was looking at that one too.
Yeah.
Not bad. And Aaron Gordon, yeah. I mean, that's he put up 29 points against him last time they played. I feel like Paul George is not going to play in this game. He's questionable for the game.
So you want to get something on Kawhi?
Not out. Yeah, so on the Clipper side, I was going to lean Kawhi. I was just trying to pull up his stats because so his line for points is 23 and a half. He has done that in 5 of his last 10, but in his last 6 games, he's done that 4 out of 6. So he's starting to score. He scored 24 against Indy and 26 against Boston. I don't know. It's minus 105. Good value.
Yeah, I
think it's worth a flyer, if you feel that George is not going to play. The one real game where he was actually playing minutes, where George didn't play and Kawhi did play, Kawhi put up 31 points. So that was recently. So I think it's worth a flyer if you want to get someone
for sure. And I mean, he basically, he will be the primary ball handler. I mean, a lot of times he is anyway. He's not Reggie Jackson, so you can kind of look at him in some ways as a point guard against Denver.
He's like a LeBron point guard.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm just going to bring it up because I'm significantly better than anybody else on my team.
Exactly. Yeah. So
all right. That's
nice work
that's a
today.
wrap. 4 games, and we'll get our top picks, or maybe we'll get all of our picks up on Twitter.
Yeah, it's not too many today. So
not too many. So we'll go through that and get them up shortly. All right.
All right. Sounds good. Nice work, Dave.
Okay.
All right,
yep.
Bye.